be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus told his disciples this parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out at dawn to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with them for the usual daily wage, he sent them to the vineyard. Going out about 9 o'clock, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace and said to them, "You too, go to my vineyard, and I will give you what is just." And they went off. He went out again around noon and around 3 o'clock and did likewise. Going out about 5 o'clock, the landowner found others standing around and said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" They answered, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You too, go to my vineyard." When it was evening, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Summon the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and ending with the first." When those who had started about 5 o'clock came, each received the usual daily wage. So when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them got the usual wage. On receiving it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, "These last ones worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who bore the day's burden and the sun." He said to them in reply, "My friend, I am not cheating you. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what is yours and go. What if I wish to give this last one the same as you? Or am I not free to do as I wish with my own money? Are you envious because I am generous? Thus the last will be first, and the first will be last." The Gospel of the Lord. If there's ever a story in the Scriptures to illustrate that God's ways are not our ways, this parable we just proclaimed is precisely that. I hope this doesn't sound corny, but I love being a priest. It's been 44 years of the most fulfilling life anybody could ask for. But I have to confess that deep in the core of my priesthood, there's a genuine sadness. And that is simply because most of your children are no longer here. And in many cases, it was not that they walked away from the church. It was that the church walked away from them. Its rigidity and its rules and its absolutism moralism. And I say to myself sometimes, why doesn't God change that? He could reignite the faith in their hearts. He can do anything. And I come up against the brick wall which tells me over and over that God's ways are not our ways. In a few weeks, every parish on the east side of Erie will receive a letter from Bishop Persico realigning the Mass schedules on the east side. When he met with the pastors and the parish councils recently, he said to us that we're saying Masses to half-full churches and have enough priests to do it. When I was ordained in 1970 for this diocese, I was priest number 305. Today, there are 108 of us, and 70 of us are over the age of 60. 50 of us are over the age of 65. We simply can't go on the way we have been. And this is simply the first step in a planning process that we're undergoing, which will result in the merger and closing of parishes. And that's going to be extremely painful for people because Catholics love their parishes. And again, I say to myself, but God could change that. He could call more men to priesthood and solve the problem. And I come up against the brick wall that God's ways are not our ways. And remember, when you encounter the mysteries of your own life and you say to yourself, why doesn't God hear my prayers? Why doesn't God do what I know has to be done? I invite you to remember again that God's ways are not our ways. Amen.